So, hey,
Morning, boys.
everybody joining us tonight. Let me start by telling you that if you ever watch, this is how I always refer to Bob Chase. If you ever watched the Dos commercial where they say the most interesting man in the world, Bob reminds me of that. The most interesting man in the woods, though. This
Stay true
guy
to my
can
friends.
find things that you guys cannot. I mean, he just blows my mind with some of the things he finds and does. I absolutely love watching his stuff. I love talking to the guy, and Bob and I talk. Well, we talk pretty often, Bob, through
Hell yeah.
messages. And we reached out to Bob and said, Bob, you want to join us? Rattlesnake season's upon us, and as far as this goes, this could be a one night show. This could be a few night show. This could be. I mean, God, who knows? Bob is so fun to have. I just love having him on the show. So if you don't know Bob Chase, let me introduce you to Bob Chase from Pennsylvania Hunting and Fishing Addicts.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I love coming on here. You guys are always a good time.
I love your presence, Bob. I just love hearing your stories and seeing what you're doing. So thank you as well, Bob. Tell us how the rattlesnake season's going. What's going on right now?
Oh, we've had a busy rattlesnake season. I just wrapped up a show actually with Go Wild Discover NEPA with Don Jacobs from remember Don Jacobs from Pennsylvania Outdoors on Channel 16.
Yep.
He's a good friend of mine. He doesn't live too far from here, and I saw him at the Nancy's Vision Youth Turkey Hunt, and he approached me. I didn't recognize him. He lost so much weight, man. He looks really good, and he said I want to do a rattlesnake show. So, I secured some private acreage that and a nice easy walk, not like what I took you guys on. I had him on a nicer walk,
Thanks, Bob.
and but we got the keys to the gate and drove in and everything. But it's one of those things. Last year we went up there, we found 17 rattlesnakes. This year we went up there, I didn't find a single rattlesnake. We found three. The cameraman found one, and the landowner found two. And we were joking that the landowner let them go, so that we'd have snakes to find. But he was a great guy. I mean, we did have a good time. We were able to cover the bases on snake handling and all that such. In fact, what was crazy is five of us walked by this snake. I walked within 13 inches of this thing. It didn't rattle, didn't move. Well, I was past it about 15 feet, and the landowner gave a whistle, and he's like, "Hey, right here." We all turned, went back, and that snake still didn't move. And we were able to handle it, and get some good video footage of it, and did some explaining, some education of it. And again, it's a snake I wouldn't normally handle. I could see it wasn't long enough, but we still tubed it and went through the motions and everything, and again for educational purposes, and we let it go.
Now, are we looking to see this show soon?
Oh yeah, it should be out in a week or two, I guess. He's pretty quick on a turnaround. He did he did a pile of different shows with some friends of mine in the area. He did a scuba diving show with my buddies that like to fish. He did. Oh, he just did a show too on a mentored hunt that I'm part of up here in Cherry Valley. I've never been to the close one. I always go to the far one down in Ben Rush in Philadelphia. But yeah, he did a program on that, and he does it just like he did on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Only there's no commercials, and it's really cool. They give him a lot of freedom, and he's really, man, he's really good at what he does at putting it all together, telling a good story, and making people like me look good.
Uh,
I was supposed to do two. I was supposed to do two other shows. I was supposed to do a show with Chad Faulkner at Bone Cold TV, but man, our schedules have not. We could not make it happen. And Donnie Orner from 365 Adventures called me, and I said, "Geez, Donnie, I don't know when I'd have the time. I was kind of booked up with everything the people I was taking and different things I was planning. And right now, I've only been going one day a week. We just did the Shriners Hillbilly clam bake yesterday, so we're raising money for that. We raffled off a BB gun. I put it on Facebook, and I got a 180-day ban. It took me a day and a half of fighting to get back on.
sorry.
We shut the hunting page down, shut me down, everything, and oh boy, I had to send in my driver's license, a note from my mother. I mean, everything to get back on.
Did your mom sign it for you?
Yeah, yeah, she wasn't too willing. She's not on Facebook, but she signed it for me. I was in,
you
finally bought
that
the
stuff,
Zuck.
what will happen?
Yeah, yeah, but no, we had a good adventures. It took some new people out that they've been asking me for years to go, and I have a lot of old people that I've taken out before that have been asking me to take, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of. It's crazy because I only have like 1 or 2 days a week that I'm able to go, and the season's only 6 weeks long, so that's like 6 weekends, and then you figure we did the Noxon hunt. This is the first year actually I didn't bring a snake in. I lost my partner because I was slow to ask him to go. So he partnered up with another friend of mine. They were able to get a black and a yellow and submit as a team, and they weren't very big. They're like 45 and 46 inches. I did find two different snakes that were 49 inches each, but I told myself if it wasn't 50, I wasn't gonna bring it in. I did that one I found. I was 3.5 miles back in the woods, and by the time you take it up there, go through the motions. Sunday, you get it back about 5:36. You got to have it back by sundown. I'd be walking out of the woods with a flashlight, and I got to go to work the next day, so I didn't bother.
Oh, I
It
think
wasn't
most
worth
would
taking.
understand that.
Yeah, yeah, that's a haul. And that snake, it's crazy. That snake was completely blind. It didn't even have eyes on it. Yeah,
Really?
it was a little thin, but it was other than that, it was perfectly healthy.
Was it
Yeah.
shedding?
No, no, it had I showed the pictures to a couple different snake guys, and they said it might have had a mite or something in its face and it affected it, and that was the other thing too. I mean, I didn't know if this thing had scale rot or something. I wasn't going to take it up there. I obviously can't put it in with the other snakes, so they would have had me just turn around and take it back the same day. And so I just thought, I don't know what the health of this thing is. I figured I'm not even going to hurt it. Let it go. Leave it. So
Yeah, I
that's
can't say I blame you, honestly. I can't say I blame you at all for that.
yeah. I'm not against. You get a license. You're allowed to harvest one. I'm not against harvesting any. And I have people that say, "Oh, I want to go with you because I want to harvest a snake." And I said, "Listen, if I'm taking you to my spots, you're not going to harvest the snake. You want to take me to your spot and we'll go out and look and everything. You find a snake, that's on you. You have great, have at it. I mean, I've done it once or twice. We actually did keep that one the other day that we found that was 50.5 inches, and that was even a rough measurement. We didn't get a good. He was tough to wrestle with, but my buddy Nate kept that snake, but he'll probably have it a week, and he's planning on taking it back up and dropping it, releasing it.
So is that the biggest one for the season so far? 50 and a
Yeah,
half?
that's the biggest. 50.5 was the biggest we found. I mean, it had some girth to it. I mean, it was fat. I couldn't even put my hands around it, and I got big hands. I couldn't get my hands around it, and the pattern was just gorgeous for a black phase. And we're both, he said if I want a yellow, if I find a nice yellow, I want to keep it. We found that snake, and he's like, boy, I'm thinking about it. And then he didn't want it. We actually let it go. Then he caught it again. He's like, I'm gonna keep it. So we fought it and put it back in the bag. And then he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it for a week. Show a couple people I want to show, and then I'm just gonna bring it back. I said, no problem, man. I'll help you out, whatever you want to do. But it's about 600 or 800 feet straight up where we got to take it. About a mile and a half, 2 miles back in the woods, but that's where it goes, and we'll put it right back exactly where we found it.
Well, and that's a rule here in all this, right? When you get one and take it out, you have to return it exactly where you got it.
Well, that is for the snake hunts. When you're in these snake hunts, most I don't know any that's not a no-kill snake hunt. When you go, you sign up, you get a provisional tag, you catch a snake, you bring it in. When the whole hunt's over, they do the awards, they give you your snake back. The rule is you got to take it back to where the rule up here anyway is that you have to take it back to right where you found it, and have it back by sundown. And a lot of people say, oh, they just throw it out of the truck or whatever. But I can tell you, man, most snake hunters, no, they're gonna put that snake right back where they found it. That's just how it is.
Well, I think that's more a respect thing. I mean, you got it from there, you put it back where you got it, right? I mean, it'll move
Yeah,
itself if it wants to go.
yeah. It's not like this is a big money thing. I mean, you win a little wooden plaque like that. Like that's it. I got a big box full of wooden plaques here from a variety of different things. someday I'm gonna hang them up. Maybe I don't know. I just got a couple more this year too. I don't know what I'm gonna do with those ones. I did put the picture up behind me. That was the one I got for Hunter's Ed Instructor of the Year for the Game Commission. That was a total surprise.
I, I think that's awesome. By the way, I think that's an incredible achievement there. Something you've been after and working hard, with the children against. So I think it's great. I just thought that was great. When you messaged me, I got it. I was like, yes.
Oh yeah, the game warden called me, and he actually was getting ready to move to another county, and he called me up, and I was actually working on the Fish Commission's building out in Dallas at their headquarters, building a garage. And I have no phone service there. And he's trying to call me. And I'm like, oh man, something's up. Well, I emailed him that morning because I wanted to put on a Hunter's Ed class in an area that doesn't have Hunter's Ed classes. So I wanted to get the kids from this area so they don't have to travel far. I try to break it up throughout the county wherever I had these classes and add them where needed because everybody calls me. I get a couple a week. People ask me, when's the next Hunter's Ed class? Are you going to be the instructor? So I called him about that, and I finally got a hold of him. When I got home, I called him, and I says, "Oh," I said, "you got my email?" He goes, "No, I don't have any idea what you're talking about." He said, "I want to tell you." He said, "I nominated you for Hunter's Ed Instructor of the Northeast region," and I said, "Oh, well, yeah, I appreciate that, man." He goes, "Oh, and you won it." I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you." That's a surprise. So I was happy with that, and then he says something about it's going down to. He said it's going down to Harrisburg. So I'm like, okay, I didn't really know what that meant at the time. And then a couple weeks go by, and I was at a restaurant with a few buddies of mine having a late dinner, and it was 9 o'clock. We're driving around looking for a buddy's house in this development where there's a lot of deer. So we're driving around, and he calls me. It's like 9:30 at night. He goes, "Oh, you're not sleeping, are you?" And I'm like, "No, we're just driving around jacklighting deer right now. What's up?" And he's like, "Yes, of course you are." And he's like, "Oh," he says, "Yeah," he says, "I nominated you. They sent it down to Harrisburg," and he says, he says, "You won the whole state." And I'm like, "Really?" I said, "Well, I'll believe it." He said, "They're going to send you a letter." I'm like, "Well, I'll believe it when I see the letter." And sure enough, I got the letter. I mean, I got a lot of phone calls. Brian Whipke called me. He's a great outdoor writer. I read a lot of his articles. So it was a privilege. He got a hold of me and did an article on me, and it was in a local newspaper. I mean, I don't know all the publications he writes for, but it was in a Pocono newspaper. It wasn't in any of our like local papers around here. And of course, I got a pile of phone calls from the Poconos and my friends out there and sent it to me. I'm like, told everybody, "Hey, save me a copy," and I never got a copy, so I
Well,
didn't get out there.
you've been in a lot this year. I mean, you were just in what, Pennsylvania Game News as well.
Yeah, no, I was. I wrote an article for Keystone Wardens actually, and it was
There
a
it was,
really short
Keystone
article.
Wardens.
I wrote it for Keystone Wardens, and just a short one. I mean, I wanted it to be longer, but I had questions, and I kept calling the Fish Commission with these questions, like, like just some questions I had. I mean, I'm always trying to learn new things, man, and I had some questions about it. I didn't want to say something that, you know, was on the gray area or illegal or something like that. I wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row. So I couldn't really get a hold of anybody, and so I just threw that article together the night before deadline and sent it out. I mean, they're asking me for an article for this September too, and I'm like, I'll throw something together. I mean, it's pretty cool, writing something and then it gets published. But I took a friend of mine who writes for Game News out snake hunting last year, where I took Don Jacobs this year, and we found he's been in the woods, big outdoorsman, 50 years, never in his life ever saw a rattlesnake. So I took him out, and he he's like, "What are the chances of me seeing a rattlesnake today?" I said, "Your chances are pretty good. You're going to see one in the next 15 to 20 minutes." And he's like, "Really? I find it hard to believe." It was like 3 minutes later, I found a rattlesnake. And then we took my daughter with us. She was in a lot of the pictures. And we ended up finding 17 rattlesnakes that day. And it was crazy. They were all exactly the same size, 37 and a half inches. Everyone we did measure, and everyone we didn't measure, I mean, you saw how I could judge them. I'm looking at that. I'm like, just over 36. I'm like, that's about 37. That's about 37. And that's the way it was. We grabbed like three or four of them, and they're to show him, and he wanted to do pictures. He ended up writing an article, and it went out in Fur Fishing Game Magazine. So July's issue of Fur Fishing Game Magazine has an article in me about rattlesnake hunting with my buddy Richie Margieski.
So I mean, you've been all over the place this year. You're
Yeah,
king
I'm
of the
getting
woods.
yeah, yeah, and it's going to get busier too. I mean, I have I'm doing Camp Cadet with Troop R with the state police on this Sunday, where we teach the kids scuba diving. So I'm gonna have my hands full with that. We always do. I think we have like 140 kids, and we get them all in the water, and we get them all scuba diving. And man, that is a good time. We really have a great time with that.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it's that. Oh, that's the fur fishing game article, I believe. Yeah,
Right there, yeah. Look at
yeah, it's
that,
my buddy Richie. He wrote a good article.
dude. That Chris is on his game, ain't he? He's always on his
Yeah,
game.
I told him. I said my mother couldn't have wrote a better article than that.
But she signed your slip.
But she signed my paperwork and back on.
You know, you'd be proud to know. I've shared a lot of information in the last, I'd say the last month and a half, with people asking me about rattlesnakes. I've remembered your info. I don't know why. I have it
Yeah,
pounded in there. You know, 21 subcottals or less is a female. Anything over that is a male. You can only keep 42 inches or bigger in a male.
yep.
Yellow and black can look the same, but if you look around the eye, you can usually tell which one's really which.
Oh
I
yeah.
tell you, you taught me a lot, and I enjoyed the experience. So I will tell anybody, man, if you've never been out there, you got to take a moment and go out there because it was a life changing experience for me.
Oh yeah, it's a good time, and I it's crazy because like my kids are all over. Like Grant's over 18 now; he's got a girlfriend. He didn't even hunt deer with me last year that much, and he at the end of the season, he's at the end of the rifle season. He's Dad. This is the first year I didn't get a buck. I said, this is the first year you had a girlfriend and you didn't hunt with me.
Well, let's say, Bob, that changes a lot when we're young.
Yeah, but he's that the kids he's gonna be starting college soon, and the other kids are off in different directions. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna take this opportunity to do more mentoring, and I've been doing a lot with that. And there's a lot of big stuff coming down the pike with that. So it might be a couple years in the making, but we're working on it. I'm working on it with. I got a couple people I've been working with it on, and I haven't talked to them lately. I mean, with I'm with my buddy Ray Taylor from PA Youth Field and Stream, Dan Sneeds from Hunter Nation. Actually spoke at the Game Commission meeting in April, and I actually got up and spoke, and I was nervous as hell. I had this whole speech planned, and my buddy Ray's like, "Nah, nah, nah, don't talk about that. Pick something else to talk about." I'm like, "You're kidding. I spent 3 days writing this." So I went back to the hotel, and in about an hour, I rewrote a whole new speech, and I basically got up there, and I thanked the game commission for the all the opportunities. You got the whole panel there, and you got everybody from every organization sitting in the side seats in the back, and I went in there and thanked them for the opportunity of all the amount of hunting land that we have. And I'm a big proponent of public land hunting. I do 90% of my hunting on public land. I try to only hunt on public land and I shoot these, you know, it's possible. Not every year now, but
Well,
because
Bob,
of
let's talk about that. Let's talk about you being the shittiest man I know in the world. I, I believe this year you made a post that said, "One day to turkey hunt, a few hours, and I see a picture of Bob Chase holding a gobbler." Right? Let's talk about this. How does this
time.
work for you?
Well, I actually spent the early part of the season taking a lot of kids out and getting them turkeys. And you know what's crazy is, you know, I'm the vice president of a hunting page that has over 55,000 followers, and I never take pictures. I honest to God, the day I was Don Jacobs, I didn't take a single picture. Last weekend, we caught that big rattlesnake. My buddy took all the pictures. He gave me his phone. I'm like, oh, you know what? Send me your send me your pictures. I try to take with my phone. It's all cloudy. I actually took took the cover off my phone because I couldn't see through the camera when I was taking a picture. So I got to get a new cover or something, you know. But I always forget to take pictures. But I ended up I was at work. I mean, I was working on Liberty Grange Hall, way up in Susquehanna County. I happened to get out of work early, and I ended up I had to run back to my buddy's house, and he's got a few acres, and he's getting a new kitchen countertop. I had to prep the lights and everything, and I had a dentist appointment, so I wasn't going back up to Liberty. So I'm like, oh, I got about an hour. So I told his wife, I said, oh, I'm going to go up the back and try to call some turkeys in. She's like, there's already been a dozen people up there. She said, you're wasting your time, but go ahead. I was back in 15 minutes, man. I went up there. I didn't even, if you look at the video, I only have a camel bandana around my neck. I'm wearing, khakis,
I
brown
seen it.
sweatshirts.
That's what
I
I
left
said.
my
The crappiest man I know. 15
Yeah, I didn't.
minutes.
Yeah, Fred Bear always said you don't need camouflage. You just got to sit still. And I was sitting there. I called in three bombers too, and the hen came in, and I never hunted there before. I walked in and I had a big dirt mound in front of me. And my buddy's got a bike track that goes through the woods, and I literally just walked in there and found a tree big enough to plant my butt, and I sat there, and the hen come. I mean, I ignored those three gobblers, and I just kept ripping on that hen, and she came at me with a vengeance, and she walked right by me, and then she started putting, and they stopped, and one stepped out, and it wasn't even. It was like the smallest of the three, and I had like a 9.25 inch beard, 9.5 inch beard on. I dropped him with my 16 gauge. That was it.
I seen the
That was
post, Bob. Not the big one I wanted. Not the
yeah.
big one I wanted. 9.25 inch beard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll take what I can get, man. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of days, and I took my kid and his girlfriend out. We were trying to get her a turkey, and she was nervous, so we had some come in to shooters in shooting range, but she's just a little too nervous to get him. But that's something you get over after going a couple times, and I didn't get excited because that means I get to call in another turkey. I don't care.
Well, once she misses once or twice, you won't even care about missing anymore either. That's part of it,
The
That's part of the
funniest part
learning
about
process.
the funniest part about that is she actually did miss one later that day, and my kid missed two that day. Yeah.
All in the same day.
Yeah, well, I think I called in 13 birds that day altogether.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even bring a gun with me. I didn't feel like carrying a gun, and I could have been done. And I always get the second turkey tag. I have never used it. I always get it just in case I need to be backup for somebody or something, And I wish I did because my kid, he knocked the bird down, it got up and he flew, and you know how sick that makes you when something like that happens. But
Well, and it died. I mean, I'm not being smart. 9 out
yeah,
of 10, it died somewhere.
yeah. The only saving grace is the place we're at was just absolutely filthy with turkeys. It was ridiculous. With like I said, I called in 13 birds there that day in like a 300-yard circle on the top of this mountain.
I call in for everybody else, and I normally don't kill any, but it depends. I take a gun. I'm normally backup. So like last year,
Yep.
I killed a small Jake. We called in 4. I killed a 5.5. What was a 5.25 inch beard Jake or something. I mean, it was
Yeah,
nothing
I have no
fancy,
problem.
but
I have no problem. I have no problem shooting a Jake. I got couple years ago actually. My son and I we doubled on Jakes. That was one of the best hunts I've ever had in my life. When we both got Jakes, that's all they were. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Howdy. But
so I got to
the
tell you, the weirdest part of this, Bob, is they say there's a ghost in my house. My kids are determined, right? So my
yeah,
dog just jumped up. I ran to the steps and started staring down the steps.
my dog's here somewhere.
If
If
you
I
see
block
me
him off,
take off, Bob, the ghost came up the steps. I'm out.
don't
I'm
be
gone.
afraid. I'm gonna
I'm running.
anything like the Suskin Screamer.
I'm running, Bob. You're going to see a fat guy go.
Yeah. I don't know. I've seen you run pretty far when Jimmy grabbed your leg.
Oh, that scared the tar out of me. I'll never forget that.
I wish we had that on video.
I'm glad we don't.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. I actually didn't even get to snake hunt with Jimmy this year.
I was going to ask you, did you hunt it all with Jimmy?
No, I really, I think I messaged him earlier on in the year, and I just really haven't. It's one of those things where I'm so busy and I'm last minute. Like, if I'm going, It's 8 o'clock at night. I'm gonna message you to go the next morning. That's how I am.
I was waiting to hear from
Hard to
my
come in.
buddy Jim from the Chubby Buck. We were going to try to. I was going to see if we can get you
Ah,
down here next Saturday. Again, I don't know if I can make the walk in. I ain't gonna lie to you, my foot hurts that bad, but
yeah.
I'm willing to try. And Jim, I'm sure, can still make the walk. But he's dying to have this experience, And I went out and scouted the other day, but when I get
Oh,
out there, I was
let me know. I'll
nowhere
come
in the
down.
area he told me. Let me tell you, Bobby, should have had him draw me a map because I wasn't even close.
Oh, you just got to point me to the game lands. I'll look at it on a map. I'll find them. I'll find them on the map before we get there. That's not a problem. But I would, I'm open for Saturday. I'm supposed to take actually the game commission and the fish commission both called me last week and want me to take them. But I said the season's coming to an end. Let me know. And I didn't hear from them. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, uh, I kind of put them ahead of everybody. But
Well, of course.
again, I didn't hear from him, but if you want to, you guys want to go, I'll make the trip down there, man.
Let me
See,
just message Jim here. I'll get with you tomorrow to confirm everything.
yeah, let me
Because I
know. I'm
don't
not
want
gonna
you.
have
I
so
don't
much
want to ruin
room.
your day, or I don't want you plan to come down and then he doesn't. He doesn't go. So,
Hey, if it's public land, I'll come down there. We'll go find it anyway.
oh, it's public. Yeah, it's all public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's no problem. I
The
have some places, like I said, they're private, but I always let the landowner know, hey, we're here. Hey, this time we're leaving. Let them know, and I let them know because I know everybody's got game cams, and they're gonna know I'm there anyway. So I like to let them know what I'm there, what I find, everything.
I think it's respect too. I mean, respect is
Oh,
huge.
absolutely.
I
Somebody
always say
else.
when it comes to a landowner, the more respect you have, the more they'll respect you back, right? I mean, that's just the
Oh,
way it works.
absolutely. Yep, that's the way it works. Is right.
I think that's a big deal there, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I mean they pay the taxes on the land. They're good enough to let you hunt there, man. You got to oblige them with something.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. And pick your garbage up, be respectful, do your thing, and people usually let you come back. It's usually when you don't do those things.
Yeah, I mean I've had people that say, hey, you're the only one I let back here. This guy did this or this. I hunted a property and I went in there the one day and man, I found a baited site and I mean, it wasn't recently baited, but it was enough that I said I'm done hunting here. And the guy kept calling me. He's like, "How come you're not hunting here anymore?" I'm like, "I'll be honest." Oh, and then I just said I've been busy, and then he messaged me a picture of what he found. He found what I found. He's like, "Is this you?" I said, "That is absolutely not me, and that's not why I don't hunt there anymore." And those people don't hunt there anymore, and I've been back.
Okay. Well, that's good though. I mean, that's the stuff I mean. Like you worked together, you figured
Yeah,
it out, and now
yeah. I
someone
mean, I,
got booted, right? I mean,
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if it wasn't recently baited, but it's one of those things where they might not have cleaned it up, and I didn't know really what I was looking at, and it's the landowner's property, and it might be his family or something. I don't want to get involved, you
better
know.
to stay away.
I just don't want to get involved. The guy's a great guy, and he didn't even know.
I got to tell you, when you were saying about your first speech, in my head, I kept rattling. Probably said two 10 points with a spotlight. I took. Your buddy's like, don't do it, don't say it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, it's great. When I went down to Harrisburg, and the game warden, he's like, you can get up and say something. He's like, don't say this, don't say that, don't tell him about the Suskin screamer, don't do this. I'm like, all right, I'll keep it short. I kept it really short. I just said thank you, appreciate it. That was it. But it
Could
was
you
pretty cool.
imagine saying something, being one of them guys, like somebody that does that stuff, stupid stuff,
Yeah.
and lets it slip in the middle of a game warden convention? Could you imagine?
Oh yeah, but it's crazy. Like, that stuff. It does happen. I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but it's certainly not worth it anymore to do anything like that. When I was a kid, my dad was the town cop, and I had a golf course a mile down the road, and when I started bow hunting, I used to just go down there, take my shoes off, and I just walk back and forth in the grass, and I'd find them arrows where they'd shot them out there in the dark, and they'd lay flat there. And man, I'd go down there on a Sunday evening and walk that golf course, and man, I'd find a dozen arrows. So I always had arrows to shoot. That all different weights and sizes, flying this way, flying that way. But you know, this was back in the oh man, it was like 1986, 85, 86. And I was a young lad learning to bow hunt. And my dad was anti bow hunting. He wouldn't let me bow hunt on the property. I had to go elsewhere to bow hunt.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, my dad's still pretty much. My
How
dad's
did that
anti
go
bow.
over with you?
Yeah, I hunted. I lived in the middle of 60,000 acres, so it wasn't hard to go somewhere else. I went elsewhere, but it was yeah. My dad's still like that. My dad's anti Sunday hunting, and I said, why is that? And he goes, oh, that's God's day. I said, Dad, you've been in a church 4 times in your life. 4 times, you know, 5 times. He got married, and each of the baptism of my brothers and sisters. And that's how he is. And I tell him, hey, better to be in the woods thinking about God than being in church thinking about the woods.
I have to agree with that, and I love that saying. I heard you say that before. I love it. I think that you're 100% right.
Yeah, I actually took a preacher from town here, and he asked me, he says, "How come you don't come to church?" I said, "Well, I'm a busy man, Father." And he's like, and I told him I go fishing, so he wanted to go fishing with me. And he's a nice guy, he's pretty funny dude. And I took him fishing with me, and I gave him the sun's coming up. We're hitting stripers on top water, and I looked over. I said, "Doug, this is my church. All are welcome." And he's like, "You got me there."
It's hard to beat, honestly. Like, everything you have there is catchy. It is hard to beat, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
I
I,
said,
re-
"Look
I
at me."
watched your video the other day we made when we were rattlesnake hunting, and when I opened it and played it, there you were. You know, as I always say, this is my church, and all are welcome. And it
That's
was
it.
funny
And
because
then I
I was
have
like, dude, that's Bob. I love Bob. I was telling everybody.
Oh yeah, then the best is I'll put that on, and a bunch of my buddies from Mayfield in the fire department, they're like, "Yeah, you say all are welcome, but you never invite us." I'm like, I don't pick up the phone and start making calling lists of people. Hey, do you want to go with me? Hey, do you want to go with me? But somebody calls me and asks me to go. I don't often turn them down. I'll take them with me. I mean, if I can. If I'm taking a kid, yeah, you got to do one-on-one with kids. That's different. But no, I never turned anybody down, especially because they have boats. I'm fishing from shore, and I'm fishing from shore, and I'm catching a lot of fish. I don't care.
Sorry, I love that. Man, they got boats, man. They're going. You should have told them that. Get a boat and we'll go.
Yeah, and they've been good. They have invited me. It's the same thing. My schedules, I can't make it. And the other thing too is, they're friends with my kid, and you get a boat. You can't have 5 guys on a boat, so like, and when somebody invites you, you can't say, "Oh, I'm bringing my kid with me too." So it's harder. I say my kid's like, "Dad, we got to get a boat." I said, "Buddy, I fish from shore and I catch just as much as they do." I find one of the most depressing things is when you're fishing all night like that, and it's the end of the night. You're at the other end of the lake. When you're wrapping that pole up, man, that is depressing. Wrapping that pole up, putting the pole, securing it down, motoring across the lake. Gotta get the boat out, secure everything, drive home, take everything out. Oh, that's so depressing to me. I fish from shore, hook my line up, walk up, get in my truck, I go home. I leave
Now,
my leave my pole in the truck.
now, you're fishing at night, and you're not catfishing.
No, no, oh, May is brutal on me. I mean, I leave work on Friday. I come home, I try to take a nap. I get up at 11. I go up to Paul Pack, which is only about 45 minute drive from me. And there's nobody on the roads, at that hour. I pass like 3, 4 cars, and I'll go up there and I'll fish till about 4:30, and then I'll go find a spot up there in Delaware State Forest or something. We'll go turkey hunting till noon, and then we book out to the Delaware, fish for shad till dark, and then and I'll bring my grill with me, man. We're grilling breakfast, lunch, whatever. We'll stop and grab dinner somewhere, and then we head back to the paw pack and fish all night again for stripers and walleyes. And I usually end up coming home about 7 or 8 the next morning on Sunday morning.
Now, are you keeping them? Or are you eating them?
Nah, I kept one because a buddy of mine wanted it, but I've tasted it. I didn't really care for it. The shad you're definitely not keeping, but the stripers, yeah, the walleyes maybe. Yeah, all the years I've caught walleyes, everybody loves catching a big walleye. Man, there's nothing like catching a big walleye. Man, they don't taste as good as a little walleye. You get them little 18 to 22 inches. They taste the best.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
So I mean, as much as I love catching big walleyes, you're better off catching the little ones.
Now, what's your biggest walleye?
I caught one. I caught one in a little creek. You could throw a rock across, 29 and a half inches.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, you could throw a rock across this creek, and it used to be loaded with walleyes. And in fact, I was up there one time, Lackawaxen River. It's not far from me, and I watched a guy catch a 46-inch muskie, and he threw it on the bank. And I actually went to my truck and I measured it, and I couldn't believe it that this behemoth was in this little creek. And I came back the next day and it was still laying there. I was so mad.
So
That
he
fish. I don't
killed
know how
it.
old that fish is. Yeah, he killed it. He threw it up on the bank. I mean, and it was. Oh, it had such girth to it. It looked ridiculously fat for how long it was.
The fish of 10,000 casts they threw on the bank.
Yeah, and I've caught muskies up there too. Trout fishing. Caught muskies in there, 20-some-inch muskies. Little ones. Caught walleyes in there. Catch a lot of trout. Everything in there.
Really?
It's a lot of fun. I go diving in there all the time. I just go with the mask and snorkel. I get a lot of fishing lures.
Wow, that's. Now, I have heard a lot of people going for walleye at night, but I have never heard of somebody going for striper at night. I didn't know that.
Oh, I never went there in a day for a striper actually.
And you catch,
Yeah,
you catch, you
in the
catch a lot.
Delaware. Oh yeah, no. Well, these aren't true stripers. These are actually hybrid stripers. And late May, early June, the alewives are spawning. And they're the little minnows, and they actually come into shallow water and they spin around when they're spawning. They make this little whipping noise in the water, and that noise attracts them stripers. And I've literally taken my tip of my fishing pole and just tapped it on the water, and I've had stripers whack the tip of my pole. And it's amazing. I tried videotaping it, but you're sitting there for an hour doing it. Sometimes it happens within a minute. It's crazy. I put hip boots on, and they're zooming right around you. And when it's nice and glass calm, you pick a light out on the other side of the lake, and you just keep throwing out that light so you can see it. And man, I just throw out there with I just use a cheap lure, like a Smithwick and or a glass lure, whatever, and I just twitch it on the water. I don't even reel it. It takes me like 5 minutes to reel it in. It's that slow, and man, it's like a beaver slapping a tail on the water. And they hit that thing and they just go for deep water, and you just hang it. You can feel the handle of your rod bending. They fight so much. It's so much fun. In fact, I was taking a wilderness rescue class. It was a Friday night, Saturday all day, Sunday all day, and I was supposed to teach a hunter's ed class on Sunday, and I forgot about it. But fortunately, it was only 2 exits away on the highway. So Saturday, that was Sunday, I was supposed to teach that class. Saturday, I was sitting in class all day, and it was beautiful outside, and it kills me to sit in class. But it is a fascinating class that DCNR put on. And we're going over navigation and compass mapping and everything and grid searches, and my wife texts me and she's like, our anniversary's next week, and I had a Masons convention planned and didn't think we can do anything, and so she's like, let's go somewhere, and I'm like, you know what? I got an idea. I said we have to be close because I have to go to this. I got to be at this class tomorrow, and I got to teach a class tomorrow. So I said, why don't we go up to the Paul Pack somewhere nice? And she's like, oh, that'll be great. So when I got home, I hurry up and grabbed my fishing stuff and I put it in the back of her car. And I went inside and she had a bag packed. So I said, I'm going to put this in the back seat of your car so you don't have to climb through the back. So we went up, had dinner. We got there like 7:30 at night, had dinner, had a few drinks, went back to the hotel. She falls asleep at midnight. 5 after midnight, I sneak out. I fished till about quarter after 5 in the morning. And I sneaked back in, and she caught me coming out of the bathroom. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I had to go to the bathroom. Climbed in, slept for an hour, got up, and I'm like, oh, we have to go. We have to go. I got to get ready. So I made the mistake at quarter after 2. I took a video of this slammer striper I caught. And a buddy that was in class didn't believe me that I was going fishing that night. So the next day, I'm sitting in that class, and she texts me and she's like, "Did you go fishing last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, I couldn't sleep." She's like, "When did you go fishing?" I'm like, "At midnight to 5."
Should
I
have said
caught five
happy
straight.
anniversary.
Yeah, I had a great night. It was like, "Did you have a good trip?" I said, "I had an absolutely excellent trip." Yeah, then I made it back. I sat in that class for 2 hours, jumped in the highway, ran down, taught 2 sections of the hunter's ed class, and then ran back and finished the class out. And I had about a half an hour left of the class, and I got a dive call for a drowning, so I ended up having to leave for that. So that killed that weekend. That was the downfall of the whole weekend. But other than that, it was a good weekend.
I know you sit in the class. I would have been sleeping. I'll tell you that right now. I'd have been dozing. I
I,
do it.
I I did
I
doze off a little on Friday or on Saturday morning from Friday night's fishing, but it just there was a little boring part. You know, we were going over stuff I already knew. But other than that, that class is a great class to take, man. If that ever pops up, that's I tell everybody. I mean, that teaches you. They teach you how to find missing persons and what to look for and how to look and what you need to wear and what you need in your go bag. And I mean, it has everything, absolutely
I
everything.
always wanted to train my dog for that.
Well,
She got a
I had
nose
a hard
like
enough
nothing,
time in the
man.
class. I had a hard enough time in the class. I don't know how your dog would make it. There's a lot of
I
writing.
I think she could make it. She's
The
pretty smart.
Actually, half that class were dog handlers for missing
Here and there
persons.
with two paws.
Yeah, half that class was were dog handlers that have their dogs trained to find missing persons.
Really?
In fact, I brought a grill with me the first day, and I brought venison hot dogs, and a bunch of my buddies from the dive teams were there, and I was grilling hot dogs, and they all had to run to Burger King, and they came back and they're smelling the venison hot dogs as they're sitting there eating their burgers, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had more, and they're like, we wish you did too. They're like, that's a genius idea. You thought to bring a grill? I'm like, I always have a grill. You never know you're gonna. I was gonna bring deer steaks, bear steaks. I had everything I was gonna bring up there.
Like I said, the most interesting man in the woods. You are always on your game. Always.
Yeah,
You're
we have.
always one step ahead.
Yeah, I get that a lot from the guys at the Masons Lodge. I'm the prankster of the whole group, so we we had a we had that Shriners hillbilly clam bake on Saturday, and years ago when I got involved in that, you know, you go out there and it's a whole day of just eating and drinking, and I'm like, what do you guys do? And they're like, nothing. This is it. I'm like, oh man, we gotta do a little more fun there, you know. So I said next year I'm having a gun raffle. I went and got a toy pop gun. There's just, you know, a little thing. Me and my buddy's a retired machinist. Tore this thing down, hand carved everything in there, reblued it, and man, we raffled that off, and we made more money than the event made that day. And I gave all the money to the Shriners Shepherds, and what they do is these guys, all they do is they pick up the kids and their families for surgeries that the kids have to go in for scheduled surgeries. They pick them up, take them there, so the parents don't have to worry about anything. Take them to the hospital. Then when they're ready to come home, they go pick them up and they take them home. That's all they do. So I'm like, I want to be able to give you guys gas money. So this year I forget how much we raised. It was something like $300 only this year. We didn't have a big showing. I tried to sell them online, but the Zuck didn't like that. So I ended up canceling that. I got to be a little more studious on how I
Well, it's
sell
on how
those.
you word it.
Yeah. Well,
Your
I had
pictures,
heat stroke.
pictures, and how you word it. That's the key.
Yeah, I was just getting over some heat stroke, and I wasn't in my right frame of mind when I posted that. And afterwards, I'm like, why did I think that was a good idea? You know.
Yeah,
But
shit happens,
it,
right?
you know, this was the third gun we made. This was actually a Model 99 Daisy BB gun that predates the Red Ryder, and it was an antique, and it was garbage when he got it. Man, it was rusted. I sanded the stock down, and I was going to do the carving, but I didn't have the time. And so my buddy, who's he's retired, he's like, I'll do everything. He made a medallion and he put it inside the stock, and it came out freaking awesome. And like I said, we raffled that off, and we made a lot of money. And I called my buddy up from the Shepherds, and we handed him the cash. And he, this my buddy Jimmy Stewart. He's a great guy. I gave it to him. He's a Shriner Shepherd, and he always appreciates anything. If I handed him $2 or $100, man, he's an appreciative guy, and you never mind shelling out money for that, and everybody there did. So we had a good day.
That's awesome. Bob, you're not going to believe this, but we hit time limit already.
Oh, really, man? We didn't even get into all the
No,
mentored stuff
I
I'm
told
working
you
on.
we wouldn't. I told you. I said, Bob, we're not gonna. I knew it wasn't gonna. I knew we were gonna hit that spot and it would be done. So, what's your schedule like in 2 weeks? You want to come back on?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll message you
Because I'd like to talk to you more about your youth programs and what's going on. I want
oh,
to
I
hear a lot
got
more. What's
definitely come on in 2 weeks because I'll tell you what, I have a big NEPA junior shoot coming up. I just got all the trophies for it, 28 trophies. That's something you guys ought to come up for. That's a good day. It's a whole day. It's an NRA shoot, and it's a 22 shoot. I check every gun going in. I do a trapping seminar, and I bring all the stuff. I got a bear rug. I let the kids touch it. Whatever, man. We do all kinds of stuff there. Last year, the game commission brought a bear in, and we processed it and everything there. And you got the SWAT team there. There's all kinds of stuff there for the kids, and
send
we
us the
give away a
info?
lot of guns. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'll
send
send
us
it
the
to you.
info.
Yeah,
So
that's
let's
coming big.
plan that. Let's do a continued episode, and we'll do it in 2 weeks.
All right,
So I
man.
don't know the date off the top of my head. It won't be next Monday. It'll be the following Monday.
All right, man. You're on.
All right, brother. I
That's
love it. I'm glad to have you on. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to continue this in 2 weeks. So everybody, make sure you join back. And if you haven't learned, the most interesting man in the woods is right here, Bob Chase. He's a good friend of ours. Keep watching. So
I appreciate it, brother. Thanks.
thanks,
Take care.
everybody. God bless.
All right,
Chris,
we'll see you.
roll us out.